I will haunt you.
tio. Mess up my rhythm, I'll mess up your life.
CEO of Brawl Stars.
Feel the power of the star!
CEO of Brawl Stars.
spooky.
Let's do this!
We're delighted to have you with us, and with